Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob and today we are gonna be beginning the narration and character voicing for the side story Operation Originium Dust. Arknights' very first collaboration side story, which was well another game or media property, as we have multiple of those at this point. But as the nature of a side story is in this game's ecosystem, this will never have a rerun, sadly. But it is here, we're gonna go over it, and gonna do the usual with a couple of alterations, considering, as you can see, I have to do it from this menu, because this is not added in the side story menu of the game, obviously. But we're gonna do a couple of different things with this one then. But before I do any of that, first off, let me welcome anybody who might be new to the channel and bumps into it through this episode. Welcome, hope you have a fantastic time here. If you want to listen to any side stories or the main story in Arknights, well, take a pick. There is a ton of playlists on the channel. A couple of stuff is linked in the description of the video for easier perusing. And yeah, go nuts, enjoy. Outside of that, this is a side story that is very dear to me, actually, for multiple reasons, as you're gonna discover if this is your first time listening to this once we start going through it. Because I'll say this without spoiling anything concrete as to what happens in the side story. This is the first side story that actually, or rather the story in general, that just well, it gives you a basis to look at things from. A human perspective, so to say. You'll probably notice it when we start going through the side story. Also, I want to point out the music you're hearing in the background, which is now on a loop currently, but the music you're hearing in the background is the old menu music for this event. I will leave a link in the description of the video if you want to go and listen to it yourself. The channel that it's on also has a couple of other music tracks from the event stages themselves. So go nuts. But yeah, this is a story that actually surprised me by its quality when it released. Because back in the past, when I mean, I had some experience with other gacha games over the years, and usually when these side stories happen, which are just collabs with like an anime or another game, let's put it this way, they are story-wise, they're always kind of it's okay, they exist. The unit is the highlight that you're getting, right? This one actually surprised me, because I went into with the mindset of, oh boy, how is this gonna work out? How is this gonna be? And then I started reading it, and then I was very positively surprised by how the story has been handled. The beginning of it might be a bit cliche to put it in a certain way, but the themes and how much it gives you a point of view from a, you know, human point of perspective to the world of Terra and its inhabitants is unique. I think we only recently had a side story where like humans looked at the world of Terra, but it was from a kid perspective, so not much was there. But this is a more professional approach to that. And yeah, like I said, you'll see how it is when we start going into it. Two things I will say here now before we begin. Number one, or rather three things. Number one, the usual, considering all of these characters are from different regions of our very own planet Earth, with different accents and stuff. Don't expect me to do any heavy accents. Like I say usually in other narrated stuff, I can't even do my own accent. I cannot even do a Croatian accent. I should be able to. I cannot. If I try to force myself, it doesn't happen. So all I'm saying here is, I'll do the usual where I do character voices, but don't expect me to do any heavy accents. If it happens, it will happen naturally. I try to force some of them, but ooh, it doesn't sound right. Ooh, it doesn't sound right, so we will do just the usual thing. But there might be some surprises in there. outside of that, considering I have to do this from this menu, unlike the usual style where we go through like the beginning story of a stage, then through descriptions of the characters and a description of the stage as well, before all of that, this will be just cutscenes. And because the menu once you click into this thing, obviously, the descriptions behind each of the stages before and after story are pretty much already summaries, we will be doing this a bit differently. And by that I mean this entire episode from the moment we start will pretty much just be a clean take, well, almost clean take, from beginning to the end. Not the end of the story, we're just gonna cover half of it because this is a very short side story. This is from back then when side stories were very short. So yeah, this is gonna be a pretty much almost clean take, just cutscenes, no additional fluff. So should flow very well, I hope. And before someone asks as well, I will only do that style of content here for this type of thing where we cannot access any of the stages, so don't expect me to do that for the other stuff that I do. I do like the other stuff myself personally, and it pretty much serves documentation purposes. Anyway, that's number 2. And number 3, a very, very sad thing. When this released in the past, well, it's partially sad, but it's still sad. When this released in the past, I did get lucky with one thing. I got Ash very early. I also got Frost. Tachanka is a freebie. But I have never ever gotten my dear Blitz. As someone who grew up a huge portion of their childhood before going to primary school in Germany, that pains me. That pains me a lot. I have never gotten the German. Very sad. It only kind of hit me today when I started to prepare for this recording that, oh god, yeah, I have never gotten Blitz. Literally, and this might trigger people listening, because it is literally the only character I don't have. Can you imagine seeing a percentile and it's forever gonna be stuck on like a 99.87%? Somewhere around there. Ooh, it hurts. Ooh, that hurts. But yeah, anyway, this will be enough for the intro. So how about we start with our story? So, we've arrived at Magnet Hill number 2. Repeat, we've arrived at Magnet Hill number 2. Iana, Ella, report the situation on your end, over. Business as usual, just putting in the finishing touches. Over. Ella. Iana, enemy incoming. In position. Gemini replicator activated. Mines deployed. If the intel we got is correct, this should be the last batch. We'll head towards you after we clean up over here. Governor! Ella, ending communication. So, that's the situation. Just sit back and leave it to the polls. I already hear the sound of Kurasmut mines going off. They'll be just fine. And you, Blitz, you're supposed to be doing your job, namely standing guard. Whatever you say, ma'am. Pay attention to the meter's readout. The intel shows that there is nuclear waste sealed inside this building. Frost, how far until our objective? After we pass through the checkpoint and the storage room, the main laboratory should be right there. The drones showed that the mercenaries set up some simple fortifications at around the checkpoint. No bunkers, no dead ends. The entrance has been sealed shut, and they've laid a lot of barbed wire all around. Their numbers? 9. Their rough positions have been marked on the team terminal. The entrance of the long corridor leading from the checkpoint into the storage room has been completely sealed, and the drones haven't been able to get in any farther. Report complete. Any other entrances? None that I can see. Okay, I'll take care of this. Do you have any suggestions, Lord?
I still have some extra incendiary rounds. How many do you need?
2 should do.
Got it.
The checkpoint entrance is full of obstacles. Blow it up and the rubble's just going to be in the way. Here's the plan. We'll blast the ceiling and the wall on the right. One of us will rappel in from the top and provide cover fire. The rest of us will breach from the right side. Frost, you're on cover fire and support. Understood. Once the chargers go off, Tachanka, drop a grenade from up top. The rest of us will throw flashbangs at the designated locations. On the ground, we'll head inside in this order. Blitz, Ash, Tachanka. Look alive out there. Don't let this opportunity slip away. If you have any questions, it's now or never. You all ready? Good. Take position. Frost, on your mark. That's when we'll begin. I'm heading to the position. Breach charge is hot. Explosives ready to go. Ready. Flashbangs.
Throwing frag grenade.
Move, move, move. Enemy down. Blitz, 2 o'clock. Frag out. Machine guns, 10 o'clock.
I'll provide cover fire. The rest of you move up.
Firing breaching round. Fortifications down.
There goes the bad guys.
3 more, straight ahead. 2. Clear.
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 Everybody okay? Alright, let's keep moving. Frost, watch our 6. Understood. I'll open the door. Blitz, stay alert. Tachanka, use the drone and check out the hallway and the storage room status.
I am on it.
Sure. How is it looking up ahead?
The storage room was filled with ammo and supplies. They had been stationed here for some time. There are no hostiles in the storage room, just black crystals on some petri dishes.
Is it a threat?
Hard to say.
What's this stuff inside the cans?
Glowing mineral crystals. Never seen them before.
Minerals, composites. As long as they are glowing, they might be radioactive.
Don't worry, Geiger's not reacting to anything.
Then let's leave them be and go straight in. Time's a wasting, team. Let's move. Ash, this is Yana. We have just taken care of the enemy, but they have blocked the corridor passage with a lot of obstacles. We have to take a different route to the core. Over. We're about to head inside the main laboratory. I need you to come back to back us up ASAP. Over. Copy. Yana out.
What now? Shall we wait for them?
No, time is pressing. Keep going. Up ahead is the main laboratory. Get ready. We're going in. Stay alert. Subdue the target when you have them in sight. Look alive. Go.
There's no one here, just these strange machines.
Don't let your guard down. The lab equipment's running, which means the target is still here.
Then we need to head inside the real laboratory. This here is the control room. You see the machines on the other side of that window? That's where the actual experiments happen. Stay alert. We don't know how many hostiles we have here.
I see. Unwelcome friends will always invite themselves in. Target inside. Hold your fire. Give me a sit rep. Looks like we're the only ones here.
No other hostiles detected.
Put your hands up, Dr. Levy. Move away from the terminal.
And here I was wondering how much longer it would take you to show up. Did you take out my security detail? What a shame. I cut them their last paycheck just yesterday. Well, I ask you to be careful with these things here. They can be delicate.
Don't even try to do anything funny. This charade is over.
Over? My new experiment has just started.
Stop what you're doing. This is your last warning.
And what if I refuse? What's the matter? Are you afraid of a senile, defenseless, ordinary citizen?
You're hardly defensive or ordinary. You're the chief scientist of the Magnet Hill No. 2 laboratory, Levi Klitschko.
Stay away from the equipment. I know exactly what you're trying to do. Blitz, cuff him.
Understood. I've got to hand it to you. Your team works fast. But not fast enough.
The reactor's activated. The black rocks are glowing. Get it to stop.
I'm sorry, I'm afraid not.
Get it stopped right now.
There's nothing you can do to stop it, but do feel free to fire your weapons. This is my life's work. If it wasn't for those short-sighted, useless morons getting in my way again and again, I would have finished all of this 20 years ago.
You have no idea what you're doing. The equipment in front of this lab is in disrepair and you are creating a nuclear contamination disaster.
Of course I know what I'm doing. The road of exploratory science is a treacherous one. Yet it's a road worth taking. Roads that lead to the truth are always worth taking. All I am doing now is getting the results I should have had 20 years ago. And no one has the right to stop me.
Darn mercenaries. You doing okay? Just complaining a little bit after the close miss just now. We could have regrouped with the rest of the team at the main lab. It's not too late. The checkpoint's right ahead. What's that sound? Hmm? An earthquake? No, it's coming from the lab. Get your replicator ready. They might be in trouble. What the hell's this? Where's everyone? What happened? No, where's the lab? Where's the map? What's with this huge hole? There's no problem with the map. The main lab should be behind the store. The lab's gone?
Wake up. Going? You okay? Go on.
Let me do it.
Well, I'm impressed.
I'm just giving her pressure points a few presses to help patch her up. That should do it. What happened?
Alexander, she's awake.
Well done.
You doing okay, Cohen? Where are we? What happened?
That's a good question.
After that madman activated his equipment, the whole lab was swept by a huge shockwave. Where are we? Just where are we? No idea.
The target activated that weird device of his, and we all got knocked out by the blast. And after we came around, well, this is it. We don't have any signals, so we can't contact Ella and Iana. The compass isn't working either. The only thing I am sure about is we definitely aren't anywhere near the mission area. It's hardly the most precise way to put it, but it's like we were teleported somewhere with the whole lab. What?
She is right. It's like we were suddenly launched by a rocket to the moon, and that's not a joke.
Through a huge crack in the wall, all one can see outside the house is a desolate desert, as if the house had fallen from the sky to the desert.
Should I go on recon? No, don't be hasty. Understood. If Levi Klitschko was swept by a shockwave too, he'd probably be in a similar situation. We'll rest up first. I'll plan our next steps.
Good news first. The supplies for those mercenaries have been thrown in with us, so at least for a short time, ammo won't be an issue.
What about the bad news?
The bad news is...
And what is the sound? Eyes open. There's something outside coming toward us. It sounds like some sort of heavy machinery, but it's way too fast.
Let me have a look. I can't believe my eyes.
Oh, and yeah, let me put it very quickly out there. Profanities in this side story will just be said profanity here, so I will just skip them, because I have no idea what, well, profanity the character used in question. Also, it is very weird that they had to censor the profanities here, because if, for those of you who do know, in a lot of other side stories, they do not censor them, and some of those profanities are very graphic, especially the ones in Latin. Looking at you, Fiametta. Anyway.
We're in big trouble. Prepare for battle.
What exactly did you see?
Have you ever seen an arthropod as big as a small car?
What did you say? Oh, screw it. Now we see it. Open fire. Fire at will. Blitz, get back. My shield. Normal bullets aren't going to penetrate its husk. If we let the thing tear the control room's wall down, it's all over for us.
AP's effective. But shooting its legs isn't stopping it.
Let it come in.
What?
Cease fire. Let it bring the wall down. Blitz, you okay? I'm fine. It's just my shield's busted. It took a good bite out of the wall. Let's be sure to take its husk down when we get our payback.
Ash, quick. What's your plan?
I'm not sure we can call it a plan, but it's the only choice we have. Your ammo is the only thing we have that's doing any damage to the thing, plus my breaching rounds maybe. And I have one left. We'll take him down the moment he breaches the wall. Judging by the damage AP's done on that thing, the breaching round should take its leg down. Hopefully it'll give us a clean view of its underside. After that, it's going to be all you. If any of you has any better ideas, I'm all ears. Alright, time's up. Ready.
Reloading. It's over. What on earth is this?
Finally time to take a breather. Phew. Man, that was close. Is this really Earth? Like, you know, the planet we all know about.
No reason to think otherwise. But we need to prepare for the worst. With the wall collapsed, we can't even use this place as shelter. let's get moving. At least until we find another place to hunker down. I'm back.
No problem, I take it.
Nothing of particular note within a 30-kilometer range. The area is safe for now.
Very good. Let me take a look at the map. We're on the right track. Keep north and we should see a waypoint the locals called Drumhill before long. We'll have an opportunity to rest at its base. From there we can start moving west, and we'll be at Thekon within 2 days.
Is Thekon our destination?
Of course not, but it's the most suitable transfer station. Thekon sees a lot of Colombian caravans, which we can follow one to reach Twin River. There we have a Rhode Island branch office. If we can get to the branch office, we'll be able to secure ourselves some transportation. From there, the rest will be much easier.
Music to my ears. Can't wait to wrap up this on-foot odyssey. My shoe soles are worn straight flat. You want to walk outside more. It's good for your health, and you won't need to keep worrying so much about your weight. Hey! What about the communicator? Any linkable signal nodes? Still no good. The way I see it, we're not going to get any direct contact with the Rhode Island landship until we reach Thekon. Not unless we can get our hands on a more powerful transmitter. You can forget about that. There's no other nomadic city to be found around here.
Quite. That's why I made sure to ask you to bring more than enough food and water. It's a tall order to find any supplies on the way to Thekon. I do remember little settlements dotted around here and there, but after all these years I can hardly say whether any of them are still better they used to be.
So you're pretty familiar with this area, Mr. Rangers?
I might have been a tad more familiar in my that is a word I hate, sprightlier days. Truth is, I haven't been around these wastelands in a long time.
You drew that map yourself, Mr. Rangers?
Indeed, any good ranger can draw their own maps. Though I never would have guessed this one would still be useful even now. The topography around here hasn't been marred by catastrophe too badly, so we might count ourselves lucky.
I'm sorry for all the bother we've made for you.
Don't worry about it. It's this old man's duty to look out for you young'uns. I share the responsibility for this mess anyway. We wouldn't be in such a tight spot now if I had made the proper preparations beforehand.
What's the band of mysterious mercenaries that raided the warehouse and by rotten luck just happened to make off with our car? Who's going to believe a story like that? I think it was the trader actually. Pulled our car apart to sell off the parts, then fed us some random explanation to cover up after the fact. I actually agree with you for once. You didn't need the for once. The old me wouldn't have let him off as kindly as that if we were going by our old black steel mercenary customs.
But you are Rhode Island operators now. I'd much rather not see you get into fights with the locals. The medical supplies made it safely, and the trader didn't try to cook the books when paying us. We can't really ask for too much more.
Carrying a sack of refined Originium ingots across the barren lands by foot is incredibly dangerous.
I won't deny that. Perforated their explanations were. We can't count on the local Wubier mercenaries to be totally honest with us, so I'll keep an eye out for the next time. But in the meantime, once we get back, you do have to report the property lost to logistics.
Yeah, this is just how Wubier is.
That said, I could likely find our way there even without any maps or arts, but we'd be taking time we don't have. I worry we're too many for that, and our water and food wouldn't let us.
You can navigate the Sargon Barrens without any tools. May I ask how?
If you ever have the time to, in the future, I can teach you a thing or two. It's all nothing more than my experience.
How do I put it? You're very worthy of the Ranger of the Red Valley title, if I do say so.
So you youngsters know how to tell an old tale or two as well, then. That's just an exaggerated title.
Aren't those tales all true, though? Like how you rounded up and brought all of the Jenkins 7 to justice in a single day, or how you held off an entire column of Rusthammer bandits all by yourself. How you struck 10 targets with just a single arrow, or how you shot down a Lateran's bullets while high up in the sky.
My word. So this is what the stories are like now.
My Sargon colleagues at Blacksteel spoke of your tales from time to time, Mr. Rangers. They're all like this, pretty much. Stories not out of place in a theater. They wouldn't be out of place in a novel either. You've heard them too, right, Miss Schwartz? There was a mercenary traveling the breadth of Columbia who told me about one or two of them. I believe they were the Scimitar of the Bloody Valley and Tragedy of the Lord Amir.
A little exaggerated indeed. Rangers aren't all powerful as they've been portrayed. I can't suppose to know what you all heard, but I can say that the most widespread stories are largely untrue. Rangers were not a fighting force, if you want my description. They were more akin to survivors banded together out in the wild. They started as just a couple of ordinary folk fallen into times of pain and strife. They stepped forth against the odds against it all. They protected villages against the scourges that would pillage them. They weren't trade warriors, any of them. They were a resistance born in a time of war that knew no other way of devastation that took and took and took. They brimmed with anger under it. They refused to kneel to cruel destiny through the months and years of the war. Afterwards, as more and more joined them, they slowly grew from a lone, autonomous militia of sorts to a collective of regional organizations, and so they resided across the wastelands, defending settlements while offering medical aid.
I've read of that from my time at Blacksteel. From reports of the Sargon region, it wasn't just officials, but the Rangers as well who'd pursue wasteland hooligans and mercenary looters to exhaustion out across the wastelands.
What those reports refer to is truth, I can say that. But back then, a group of Rangers certainly had its heroes, and they certainly caught themselves a fair share of villains. The events you describe happened, but I stress that that wasn't standard fare. The vast majority of the time, we Rangers simply helped towns fix their wells, fend off wild beasts, gather medicine, that kind of stuff. Just the little things. Moreover, this area wasn't even Sargon territory back then.
So, Mr. Rangers, back then you must have been part of that group of heroes, right?
This old man is hardly so prestigious. I was but a normal scout and nothing more.
Normal? In the end, this organization of Rangers ended up disbanding, didn't it?
That certainly is a long story. Many things happened afterwards, to say the least. And once the war concluded, the Lord Amirs were settled, each with all the land they wanted. Those Lord Amirs of Sargon would not tolerate an organization that bowed to no one, and the Rangers were one such organization. Of course, opinion from the Lord Amirs aside, there were many reasons why the Rangers disbanded, but these are past events, and it's been a very, very long time since. The nitty-gritty of all it has fallen out of this old man's head.
So all those wild stories never actually happened?
The truth is often mundane, so you remedy it by exaggerating how things happened, and you make the story dramatic. And only when it's dramatic enough do people pass it down. Your stories all picked up layers upon layer of artistry before they reached you. Alright, this old man's told plenty enough himself. Let's get ourselves ready to leave.
By the sound of things, we've already reached Sargon territory. We were already in Sargon as of last night. Can you please pay a little attention? When suddenly you're in trouble, I'll be the last one to help you. I love how much you suck.
The land we stepped on now is the jurisdiction of the Lord Amir of Bayalir, though his provisional capital is still a ways away. After that... Hold! Stop moving!
You heard that too.
All of you, stay still. Something's approaching.
It's close.
It's underneath us. Scatter!
Franca, move. What are these? Are these sand beasts? Since when do sand beasts grow like this? 1, 2... No, there's just too many.
Move into formation. Be ready for battle.
Last one here.
Everyone else, any wounded?
No worries here. None here either.
Communications equipment.
Unharmed.
Is this its burrow? Strange.
They seem like sand beasts at least. Sand beasts of this size, over 2 meters long.
I've spent the better part of my life in these wastelands, but never have I seen a sand beast capable of digging holes.
These creatures have Originium crystals on their bodies. Possibly biological mutations caused by Originium pollution then? There's no nomadic cities, no factories and no mines. How does Originium pollution even happen here? Could it have been a catastrophe's fault? You'll be underestimating nature. Wildlife knows catastrophes far better than we do. These creatures would have been the first to avoid Originium pollution. Cities can be torn apart by the catastrophes while the wildlife emerges untouched. Nature is in this world is ruthless when it wants to eliminate you. If you don't have some way of dealing with Originium, your time as a living species won't be long. I think I have a hypothesis. Like ordinary Originium slugs, the body's outer shell could have absorbed Originium into its makeup, while its innards remain clean and uncorrupted. On that note, has PRTS ever recorded any similar cases? None. Not even for the Ironfort City leakage incident in Colombia, and that's the first thing you'd think of.
Sand beasts are docile creatures by nature. Originium shouldn't change them so drastically, and I can't imagine anything short of arts would make them outright aggressive. Stay vigilant. Don't let your guard down.
Arts? A caster? I just hope this doesn't complicate things for us.
Don't let it worry you too much. We'll continue on as we were, anyhow.
Understood. Is this a Rhode Island emergency rescue signal? Is it another Rhode Island field team, maybe? Thank you. Finally answered. Please help. Requesting support. This is a Rhode Island field personnel team. If you receive this, please reply. This is Longspring. Watchtower 33. Mob currently... They've come in.
Calm down. Operator, tell us what happened.
The signal is very poor. They're coming through intermittent. Help us, please.
and bursts of sharp static, and communications break off.
Well, that's not good. What does Watchtower 33 refer to?
From the sound of it, it seemed like a Rhode Island safe house codename.
A safe house? The mission brief didn't mention any safe houses around here.
Truthfully, in a few areas, Rhode Island will make a habit of hiding some safe houses out of the way, for us in very particular field missions.
But we ourselves don't know where Watchtower 33 is.
Long Spring. That name rings a faint bell. If you could let me see the map for a second. Here, if I'm not mistaken, following about 20 kilometers north from Trump Hill, you should find another canyon. That canyon had a little village near it, I'm sure of it. That village years ago had a well, one of the very few reliable water sources for miles around.
So that's why it's Long Spring? So, what do we do next? Change of plans? Or we can try and make a for Fecon overnight. Get in touch with the branch office and see what assistance we can procure from them.
I'm worried the operator in the safe house may not last long for that. All of you, keep going until you reach Fecon, and find some support, or other there if you can. I'll head for Long Spring and see what the situation is. Don't you worry, I know this land very, very well. Indeed, I can offer to be more flexible on my lonesome. If things get out of hand there, I'll head back for Fecon promptly and join up with you all.
That? I object.
Oh?
I'm aware how varied it is of me to say our sand-burrowing mutants and the safe house's distress call might not just be coincidence, but the Sargon Barons demand we must maintain vigilance. If we are not clear about the area surrounding Long Spring, given we are not, you would gamble more alone than you can afford, Ranger Sir. I'd also like to recommend we move for Long Spring as one. If things aren't friendly for us, we can still cover for each other, especially during a retreat.
That does make sense. Yes, you're right. The old man will listen. I ought to at my age anyhow. Can't be as spry as reckless as I was in my younger years.
This thing's ugly as sin.
Ugliness is a personal thing, subject to the eye of each beholder. You ought to be seeing through to what this creature embodies, signifies. See through to the myriad array of evolutionary possibilities that it testifies to. Order is but our own arbitrarily imposed concept, which nature suffers. All the world and its beings were, in their primordiality, chaos seized by impermanence.
Levy speaking in Russian?
Of course, I don't expect any of you, sir, to understand that in the first place, it's only natural your soft, ignorant little brains can't grasp the grand strokes of the evolutionary scheme.
A language I know, please.
Of course, dear sir. Setting apart the matter of whether or not it is ugly to you, I must say you are not seeming wholly satisfied with it. Else you would not be looking for me in the first place.
It still isn't strong enough, schoolboy. Your little beastie couldn't even make the Lord's escort blink.
Surely you do not suppose it was down to the sheer incompetence of your ignorant little mercenaries? These mutant creatures are weapons, just weapons. If they knew tactics for themselves, you could throw every mercenary of yours into the garbage heap the next day.
Bite it all, Kut. I'm going to twist your goddamn head off. Hold it. Listen, schoolboy. I'm not backing your research so you can talk my ear off about a bunch of high crap. You're here for me to solve practical problems.
I acknowledge it, no mistake. Your research is something else. But if you can't help me dispose of my father with it, then you and your little shop of horrors can walk yourself into the goddamn garbage heap. My patience is limited.
As is mine. I have explained this to you over and over already, and I do not wish to do it again, because I do not wish to waste my time.
You think you can fool me? I've poured money into your little experiments for half a year, the likes of which you'll never see in your entire goddamn life, and I don't think I've seen an equal return on it. Where's that cruel and frightening army you promised me? Where's that might to make the heart no fear, huh? You think all it takes to keep me happy is a bunch of ugly, swollen, light-up sand beasts?
What does it take for you to understand? The fruits of scientific research need time to grow swollen. If money was all it took to accelerate the march of science, to ripen the fruit, I would have long since flown away to the moon by now.
Enough of that. I'll give you 2 more days, and I want to like what I see.
Imbecile.
You speak in a language I don't understand one more time, and I'll throw you and all your little creatures into the barren lands to make merry with the sun until the sun goes down. Go on, try me.
Fetch me some corpses.
Come again.
Bring me corpses. People's corpses. Corpses like the ones you leave behind. Any will do. Of course, ones blighted by the Originium infection will do even better.
What the hell do you need those for?
You bastard old coot. Now you want to insult the dead, huh? Did you not want the might to make the heart no fear? And do not hang yourself up on all the pernicious, unless whether you might otherwise call ethics. The corpses, bring them to me. I would like to have you see something interesting.
Chief, this goes completely against the Lord Amir and Baelir's great commandments. The old coot is trying to dupe you. You want to take the dead and raise me some Zyandans?
By the way, considering this is apparently a Persian phrase, I have no idea how this is supposed to be pronounced, so I'm just gonna go with that.
And it basically stands for immortals.
I do not know whatever this ghoulish thing you call a Zydan is, but rest assured you will find confidence in the fruits of my scientific research.
Chief, I don't think... Shut up. Old boy, I want you to listen carefully. You might think you're the peak of intelligence. You might think you've seen every move on the board. You might think there's nothing you don't know. But don't think about playing a fast one on me. I've gotten to know your kind all too well. Everyone like you dies because they think they're too goddamn smart to die. The only reason I still put up with you is because you're still useful. I can get you what you need. But don't disappoint me, because you will not like what comes after.
Well then, what else can I possibly say? Good luck to you.
You're still alive. Don't forget who you have to thank for it. Without me, your research would amount to a pat of bullshit. If not for me, you'd be 6 months dead, rotting in these ore mines. Head in your ass. I'm leaving you two here. Watch him. Got it, boss.
Gaggle of imbeciles. Every second I spend talking to you is spent killing off my precious brain cells.
The aged scholar reaches the depths of the caverns. Meandering tunnels lined by frames of cast concrete set in a particular yet strange pattern. The things in here were never meant to be here. The thin grey-white metal walls, instruments and devices not of this world wind up into operation.
and within a culture chamber manufactured of clear glass, Originium enveloped in connective tissue floats. It contracts, it relaxes, it convulses. Originium. It boggles my mind that this world has such an extraordinary existence gracing it. Yet somehow these locals fear it in their ignorance, fear what evolution this great power brings with it. But no, oh, of course, they should be afraid. For the fool fears the unknown, the fool fears might, the fool fears progress. Ignorance. Oh, you ignorance. Mission log, day 184. Currently, we are still holding fast in this rundown house. The 184th day of the mission and the 27th day of reaching the aforementioned rundown house. Who would believe that we've already lived in this place for 184 days? We still have no clue about this world. 2 weeks ago, based on instructions from the locals, we left this rundown house and headed to another town. Before we left, the townspeople said that it was a more developed place. I am unsure if our destination of I'm unsure if our destinations of developed are the same. Definitions, pardon. What happened? What happened? Turns out it was a bandit den. No batteries, no useful information, not even a single person we could communicate normally with. Of course, we didn't leave empty-handed. Tina acquired a car. The process was long and arduous, and used up much of what little supplies and ammunition we still had. However, the car was heavily damaged during the conflict, and broke down soon after we returned to the house. Alexander tried to repair the car, but this car didn't have an obvious fuel intake point, and on further inspection even the fuel tank was absent. The engine structure was completely incomprehensible to him, to the point he wasn't even sure if it was actually an engine. The only good news was that it was a left-hand drive car. Having been in this world for half a year by now, we are very certain that this place is not Earth. Stealing cars and getting into gunfights, it's like we're fugitives in a post-apocalyptic film. Those bandits with long lizard tails didn't even need to use guns, and they were able to throw javelins weighing up to 10 kilograms to a distance tens of meters away. The term gunfight may not be accurate here. Some of them could even create huge fireballs from thin air and launch them, with the effect somewhere in between a grenade and an RPG. This world is far too abnormal, to the point where I'm no longer surprised by anything. The adaptability of humans often exceeds my expectations. It seems that we will continue to struggle to survive here. Today will be the last day I'm recording. I don't plan on recording anymore. The storage for this recorder is almost full, and the battery will not last much longer. Our only source of power on this world is Tina's solar charger. Thank goodness this world has a sun as well. What will happen if this charger broke, or if we used up all of our supplies and ammunition? To be frank, I don't know. The situation still feels unreal to me, with everything being so weird, yet so natural. Which way is the path back home? And there we have it. A lot of lines, and pretty much what... Oh, pardon. Pardon about that. Pretty much a lot what this story is gonna be about. Seeing the world of Terra through actual human eyes. Because up until now we could only, well, barely have any concept behind stuff that is familiar. But when a actual human sees and starts explaining stuff like, for example, here we had a description of, well, it looks like a car, it drives like a car, it has a steering wheel like a car, but looking under the hood, I have no idea what I'm looking at. And this theme will continue. So anyway.
Come on, human. Look at this. Hey, you don't need vegetables. Let me see what else I have here.
What are you doing?
Come and look at Uman, my little buddy.
You're raising a... what's this called again?
Originium suck. That's what the locals call these things.
You still have the mood to raise this?
Why not? I'm spending all day sitting on the roof after all. Might as well find something to do. Can't be talking to my machine gun all the time.
Your job is to keep aware of the surrounding area's safety, not play around with a snail thing.
What you said makes sense, but what are we guarding against? Those quivering infected or the townsfolk living a kilometer away, who never come here anyway? The only living thing that's come close to this dump of a house is a flying lizard, which I suppose helped out with the ration issue.
Where's Tina and Kutz?
They went to exchange supplies with those infected people. Tina managed to hunt some stuff again yesterday. She's becoming pretty experienced at it.
Tina went out to hunt by herself again?
Of course, she's even enjoying it. She's been trying to capture a wild burden beast. By the way, Kutz went down to town. Remember that thing I dismantled from the car? Kutz said he knows a mechanic in town and wanted to ask about it.
Fine.
You're too anxious, Cohen. Just relax, we can't return, we can't return anytime soon anyway. Learn from Kutz and go talk with those people. They're somewhat friendly at least. I still haven't learned the local language. Man, Kutz really knows his stuff.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Afraid of what?
Kutz is getting too close to those people. It isn't a good thing. The atmosphere around here is very abnormal. The town is too full of contradictions. We've been here for nearly a month. Don't tell me you haven't picked up on that. A local government official who stays in his manor all day and never leaves. Oh, I guess the proper term is lord? There's those fully armed private soldiers of his as well. And this infected zone. The entire region is governed by the same lord, yet these infected are not allowed to live in the town. Even the other townsfolk are unwilling to approach this place. They were driven here.
That's because these friends got a strange sickness. The act of separating the sick when an infectious disease is raging about is not uncommon after all, even in the past. At least the Lord did not just lock them all up in prison.
Originium sickness, or was it a ripathy? I don't remember the exact term. All we know about the sickness is that it is related to Originium. It is infectious and it is incurable. But how does it actually spread between people? What does it being incurable actually mean? No one's answered our questions, and assumes that we should know the basic situation. This disease is either common sense in this town, or it is common sense in this world. If it is only contact with Originium ore that will cause problems, then I don't think that it is necessary to carry out quarantine measures. Besides, the doctor also thinks that there is no risk of infection from our frequency and distance of infection with these infected. This infected zone is just a wall-less prison, breeding hate between the infected and the townsfolk. You can feel it even without seeing it for yourself. The word I'm using is hate, not just exclusion and discrimination. Hate is carved into every word they speak, every action they do. It's become part of their culture. Hate. You understand what I mean? This isn't just a problem but an unknown disease anymore. We shouldn't get involved in any local conflicts. Just imagine this scenario. If the townsfolk began grabbing torches, raising pitchforks, and rushing into these infected's homes, what would you do then? Shoot them down?
Hard to say. We have time to thank for... we have them to thank for our food, water and medicine for the past few months. Before this, we've been trudging back and forth across this treacherous wasteland, being attacked by anything that moves, and not getting even a single glimpse of civilization, until we got their help. Do you really think we can just mind our own business, Cohen? If they grabbed weapons and broke into Dr. Miarov's clinic, do you really want to just stand aside and watch? As for the problem you mentioned earlier, I don't think the infectiousness can be ignored. It's as if everyone in this world has undergone professional chemical warfare training. They're always covering up their nose and mouths, and being extremely sensitive about protecting their respiratory systems, no matter their age and gender. I've repeated this point before as well, that we must prepare similar protections for ourselves. The doctor also approved of us keeping our distance. Thankfully, the infected don't have any complaints towards this. Perhaps this is normal to them.
What did the doctor say about this?
I didn't ask him. None of us asked him. Every time we mention this topic, he always looks as though he would rather avoid it completely. As long as he thinks our defensive measures are fine, I won't bother him about it.
Shh. I did not order pizza. There's no need to match passwords, Miss Cohen. It's me, Miarov.
Right on cue.
Hold on, let me open the door. Good morning, Doctor. Good morning, Miss Cohen. Good morning, Mr. Alexander.
Huh, we were just talking about you.
You do realize you're raising an Originium slug, Mr. Alexander?
Yeah, this little thing is actually pretty fun to play with. Tina caught some earlier and this one was too small, so I kept it. So you came to look for Tina?
No, I am here to deliver stuff. These are medical supplies. There were more leftovers this time. Thank you very much, Doctor. We're always imposing on you. I should be the one thanking you. It's all thanks to those Originium slugs Miss Tina caught that we have enough painkillers for the next few months.
So, these Originium slugs really can cure disease?
How do I put it? Oripathy is incurable. This remedy made by fermenting the body fluids of Originium slug skin only help to relieve the pain. It can't actually cure the disease. However, being able to relieve the pain is already a great blessing to the infected. Crystallization on the skin will affect normal life, and the pain is so unbearable for some that they cannot even move. It's great that we can be of help. This is the book that you asked me to look for you last time. I specifically looked for one in the Ursus language.
Oh, great. Let me take a look. Right.
Can you understand it?
With some difficulty. At a glance, it looks like Cyrillic. But when I look closer at it, there are many differences.
At least you have something to do now. Just treat it as learning a foreign language. It should be more interesting than playing with a snail.
Speaking of language, what do you call the language we're speaking now?
Your accents are a little weird, but it is undoubtedly the Victorian language. Victoria.
What about the locals? What do they speak?
The people here speak Sargonian, though Sargonian itself has a lot of dialects. For example, most Sargons can't understand the Sargonian spoken by the tribes from the rainforest in East Sargon. That's complicated.
Ursus. Ursus. What kind of place is Ursus?
Right. I'm not too sure myself. Back in school they used to say that Ursus was in the far north and covered in snow year-round. Its ruler was a Tsar. But I don't know anyone who's ever been to Ursus.
Tsar.
What's wrong? You seem disappointed.
A little. If I have the chance, I'd like to take a look at this place called Ursus.
Traveling to faraway places, that sounds nice. Perhaps only great people like you are able to do it. If possible, I also hope to travel to Colombia to complete my studies and become a real doctor. Alas, I don't have that much money, and the patients here still need me. You're still young. There is always a chance in the future. Maybe. Alright, there's one other thing. Please don't go outside for a while and hide that car of yours as well. What happened?
Did something happen in town?
Yes. How did you know?
Last night, I saw the Lord soldiers patrolling by the wall. That was unusual.
Actually, the Lord soldiers have been doing night patrols in the infected zone for a week now. Recently, monsters have been appearing in town. They've attacked many people.
Monsters? Man, all the animals in this world are already so strange. I don't dare imagine what a monster would be like.
The townsfolk have been complaining about the infected lately. Do you want to move to the second floor of my clinic for a few days? The Lord soldiers will come to inspect this ruined house sooner or later. Will it be fine, Doctor? It might bring you trouble. You've helped me out so much. I don't think it's a big deal.
I agree with the Doctor. Clashing with the Lord soldiers will just get us involved in the local issue and bring more trouble upon us. I don't want to get into a fight with those 2-meter tall doghead people.
Dog? What?
I'll tell you about that next time.
A interesting reaction to the word dog.
Someone's coming.
I did not order pizza.
Alexander, open the door.
It's Tina.
Hold on. Calm down. What happened? Cohen, trouble. A group of armed townsfolk are blocking the road to the infected zone, and the infected are confronting them. Those people are acting very aggressively demanding that someone be handed over to them.
You see? What did I say earlier?
Speak of the devil. Townsfolk? Armed? Why? The Lord soldiers do not allow normal townsfolk to approach the infected zone.
That just means the Lord soldiers no longer have the time to care about this place anymore.
Wait, what about Kutz? Didn't Kutz go to town this morning? Kutz said he was going to look for a mechanic in town this morning, but he hasn't returned yet. Oh no. Now what do we do? Go check it out first. We'll at least make sure if Kutz is there.
Should we bring weapons?
Bring them just in case, but don't attack unless absolutely necessary.
Alright.
No, wait. Don't worry, let me handle it first. I'm more familiar with the townsfolk. Let me negotiate with them. Alright, Doctor. Please be careful. It's fine. The townsfolk, they're reasonable.
Hand that person over. Give us that suspicious person. All of us saw it.
What the hell are you talking about?
Don't lie to us, you damn pollutants. I know all the recent happenings where you guys is doing. You ungrateful maggots. The Lord should have never allowed you to stay. I saw a large and heavily wrapped up person leaving town and sneak over here earlier. Hand him over.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Fine, since you refuse to give up this false pretense, we don't need to be courteous anymore. Everyone, get them! Don't you dare. Do you really think we're pushovers? Everyone, they want to fight.
Hey, stop. Don't fight. Let's talk. Talk first, alright?
What? Mr. Kutz, didn't I ask you to hide?
It's fine, don't worry. Let me talk with them.
This accent, you're not from here. Who are you?
What do I do now? Blitz, I'm a merchant. One that collects trash.
Merchant. If you're a merchant, why do you have to sneak around? What do you have under that bulging robe of yours? Come on, show us. Capture him. Bring him to the Lord.
Fine, fine, fine. I'll listen to you. I'll go with you guys. There's no reason for us to fight, right? I'll explain clearly to your lord.
Mr. Kutz, capture these guys as well. I suspect they're all accomplices. You! Don't you go too far. What right do you have to capture others?
Oh, come on. Bro, that's pretty unreasonable of you. These friends just brought some Originium slugs that I hunted. Bought some Originium slugs that I hunted. Surely it's not a crime to sell Originium slugs.
Who knows if you people are colluding together to plan something sinister. Capture them! Capture all of them!
Stop! Are you planning to go against Lord Tula's will?
Doctor, you finally come.
Apologies, Dr. Miarov. Lord Tula ruled that no one is allowed to approach this zone unless you are an infected as well. What, are all of you infected?
Don't bother trying to smooth talk us. What kind of relationship do you have with this outsider? Spit it out. Otherwise we'll capture you as well.
He's a patient of mine. There is no rule that my clinic cannot accept outsiders as patients.
Well then, since you want to stop me, why don't you try and see?
What are you planning to do?
Don't waste time here. Bring them away.
Hold on. You're not from this town.
What do you think of it?
The doctor is trying to reason with them, but the other side are stubborn as bulls.
Doesn't seem like it can be resolved peacefully.
Don't be rash. Let the doctor handle it. Cohen, something's wrong. Huh? Do you see those big guys at the back there? I see them. What are those things they're carrying? They're wrapped in cloth. With that size, it doesn't seem like they're farming tools. Would normal farmers carry these kinds of heavy weapons?
Even in this world, I don't think farmers would till the fields while carrying huge swords. They're not here to talk, Cohen.
Don't do anything stupid. Both of you, cover me.
Understood. Brad, shut your mouth if you don't want to die.
You're not from here. I've never seen you before. Who are you people? What are you planning to do here?
Huh, you guys are just like thieves crying stop thief. Guards, there are intruders here. Guards! Everyone, there are intruders! You talk too much. Time to shut up.
Huh? Doctor, get down.
Guns! They're mercenaries. What are they? Why are there mercenaries in the infected zone? Don't worry about it. You have to bring them all back, dead or alive. Do it.
Don't even think about it. Lord, cover fire.
Should have done so from the start. Taste this.
Ceasefire. Watch out for civilians.
They're getting away, Cohen.
Don't bother with them. Protect the others. Someone come here. There are injured people here. Let's bring them inside. Doctor, are you okay? I'm here. I'm fine. My leg! My leg is broken! My leg! Calm down. Your leg is still here. It's just dislocated. Grit your teeth.
An infected girl yelling for her mother. Has anyone seen Algar's mother? Help me, please!
Sorry.
Help me, please! We're running out of bandages. Those... Is there a fire over there? Isn't the town center in that direction?
Looks like this isn't the only place that was attacked.
Why? Why did the Lord's Guard... Where did the Lord's Guards go?
Don't care about those guards or whatever anymore. There are sounds of fighting everywhere now, and it's only getting worse. We can't stay here. It's too wide open. Let's move those wounded behind this building for now.
Monsters! The monsters have come again! Help! This is endless. Alexander, get on the roof and cover us.
Understood.
There's no time, Doctor. We need to leave this place. But where can we go? Let's go to your clinic. These infected... Don't worry too much about it. Let's get everyone to your clinic first. Alright. Someone lend a hand. He can't walk anymore. Cuts. Can you go and check if there is anyone else hiding in those houses? Let's get everyone here to the clinic. Stay safe. Understood. This is really a disaster. +40 people. Is everyone here? Yes. Everyone we've rescued is here. How many are we missing? Quite a number. Maybe they went to the other side of the town. But some old ones, they didn't make it. Don't beat yourself up. It's not your fault. These monsters, where are they from? Are they trained beasts? I don't know. I've never seen anything like them before. When those thugs drew their weapons, these monsters began burrowing out of the ground.
Who cares where they came from? How can there be so many of them?
How's the surrounding situation?
A big mess. There's sounds of combat from the other side of the town. I don't know what happened there.
How much ammo do we have left? Not much. I only have 4 magazines left. If Alexander runs out of ammo, then we're in big trouble. Ammo isn't the biggest problem right now. This house isn't going to last much longer. Judging by those monsters' size, if you let even one or two escape, they will definitely smash through this wall and it will be impossible to stop them. And then we need a plan. Doctor, how are the patients doing? Many of them are wounded. I'm only able to do some simple treatment. We're lacking bandages and disinfectants. Is there any way to leave the town for now?
Where will we go after leaving town, while bringing so many with us?
Without food and water, going into the wasteland means certain death. I don't think these monsters will give up on attacking us. If we get to the wastelands, we'll just be in a worse position without any cover or means of hiding ourselves. Besides, we'll all witness their burrowing abilities. I know a place. It might be safe. There's a special building at the south side of town. It might be the safest place in town, bearing the Lord's residence. Do elaborate. There was this medical organization called Rhode Island, which rented a piece of land at the edge of town. Later they hired workers to dig a fair amount of soil and stone and build a very solid house there. It could be the strongest building around here. It looks like a fortress. How do you know about this Rhode Island? How do you know that this Rhode Island would be willing to help us? There is only one watchman at the building, and I know him. I've purchased some medical supplies from him before.
There's a lot of soil. Most likely they dug out a basement. Sounds like a safe house used by mercenaries.
Doesn't sound reliable.
Unless we have a better option, I suggest we take a look. Without food nor water, staying in this place is no different than waiting for death.
That building is at the edge of the town. We can head over from outside town to avoid being seen by others. Cuts, is your shield still usable? Half of it. I can use it to smash someone, probably. I need someone to go with me to help protect the doctor. I'll go. Worst comes to worst, I can always shield the doctor with my body. Don't talk crap. Cuts and I will go with the doctor to check out the safe house. Tina, you stay here with Alexander. Understood. Doctor, no matter what happens next, please follow my orders. Understood. Cuts, protect the doctor well. I'll keep him safe. I don't see any lights. Is there no one there? Keep your distance. This building's door has been smashed. Even here. What are these thugs' goals? To rob and plunder like common bandits? Help! Help! Anyone! Help me! I don't want to die! Damn it! It's the watchman! Don't move and stay here. I'll go have a look.
If only I didn't take this job. I don't want to die here.
Who are you? Don't move. Your leg's broken.
Mercenaries. Don't kill me, I beg you. Don't kill me. I really don't know where the key is. I'm just a simple watchman. Please believe me, I really don't know.
Calm down. I'm here to help.
You're not together with those guys. Help me. Help me.
I said, calm down. Cuts, bring the doctor. Mr. Ockfen, your leg. You're that infected, doctor. Oh, thank heavens. Don't worry, let me look at your leg. Man, this place has been turned upside down. The inside looks a lot smaller than the outside. Secret doors, hidden rooms, and fortified walls. Aren't all safe houses like that? What's this? Radio equipment? It's completely destroyed though. Such a large machine. Looks very retro. Turns out this world has had communication equipment like this. They even have cars after all. It's not strange for them to have a radio. There were other broken electronics back at the rundown house we stayed at before, like the fridge, fans, and kettle, though none of them actually used electricity. Just like this wireless radio, the car we got. All these machines have a device filled with black crystals. I suppose that is the energy source for these devices.
Ow, 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 ow! Please, be gentle, doctor.
Please bear with it. Luckily, it's not very serious. The bone isn't broken. You're the person in charge of this place.
This is Rhode Island's branch office. I'm actually just a simple watchman.
Let me guess, those thugs came here and forced you to open the basement door, but you persisted in your duty and kept playing dumb, which resulted in you getting beaten up and left here to die.
Something like that. Wait, how did you know there's a basement?
You've been tricked. We're actually the thugs' backup, and here to get you to confess everything.
What?
Cuts. Don't get angry, I'm just trying to live up the atmosphere.
What are you actually planning to do?
Don't worry, they're good people. They've been protecting the inhabitants of the infected zone all this while.
The infected zone was attacked as well? It's so messed up. What about the Lord soldiers? Where are Lord Tula's soldiers?
The Lord soldiers still haven't appeared.
They might be in trouble as well. Mr. Watchman, we need your help.
What can I do to help? I can't even stand up right now.
The infected townsfolk have also been attacked, with many of them being injured and the buildings of the infected zone suffering heavy damages. We need you to open up the safe house and let them hide in here.
That...
In return, we will guarantee your safety. You can trust us.
But I... Based on the contract I signed with Rhode Island, the entire safe house is the property of Rhode Island. I don't have the authority... Infected. Alright, let them come. Losing my job is better than losing my life.
Thank you.
Guns. Mercenaries. What are you babbling about? I'm telling the truth, boss. They've got huge guns. They killed German. Mercenaries with big guns. Are they Sancta? Are you telling me you blew your mission over for Sancta? I don't think they're Sancta. Probably. They're not Sancta, but they're mercs carrying around big guns. If you're gonna lie to me, at least make it believable. He's telling the truth. What do you mean he's telling the truth? He's telling the truth. They were heavily armed, but they really weren't Sancta. German took one in the brain, but I didn't see an arrow or a bolt. Suckers aren't that weak. These ones weren't part of your plan. Having to deal with a bunch of fully armed mercenaries was not in the contract, boss. We need a raise. And where are they now? They're not in the infected quarter anymore. Our men are looking for them, but we haven't seen any major movements. They should still be in the area. How's the old bastard doing? Your father's people are tough, especially that little sister of yours. We bumped off some of their fighters, but we haven't been able to breach into the manor perimeter. Your scientist monsters are doing good work out there, but your casters suck. We lost a lot of them already, without getting much for them. Those are already the best money can buy. Until your boss is willing to send us a caster, you're in no position to complain. Then get your scientists to go up some more monsters. Or change tactics. That mission is their mansion is a fortress, and a direct attack isn't going to work. And it's not like your sister is an easy target either. What about the old bastard himself? Is he still holed up in the house? I haven't seen your father yet. No sign of him at all since we showed up. I knew it. I knew something happened to him. Keep watching the manor. Tell us as soon as you've got news. But about the change your tactics part, you're getting ahead of yourself. Call it a Sarka's mercenary intuition. The longer you drag things out, the more chances they have to go wrong. I have a contingency plan. I just need time to put it together.
Confident as I am in the results of my experiments, the look on your face tells me you don't share my assessment. Come, tell me, where have things gone wrong this time?
I need progress from you.
Would you like to offer something a little more constructive?
Or is your pointless needling all you have? I gave you enough corpses. I need at least 20 monsters.
Originiums.
What?
These monsters are Originiums. They have a name.
Mutants. Originiums. Why should I care what they're called? Give me more monsters.
I gave you so many already. Did you get them all killed so quickly? I'm curious. How are your minions using the Originiums? Do they rely on your Originium arts? What is it exactly? Superpowers? Occult mysticism? Magic? Where does it come from? Come on, satisfy my curiosity. I must speak with your casters.
Just do your job, egghead. You don't need to be thinking about Originium arts right now. Once we're done here, you'll have plenty of time for your own research.
I have very little confidence in your project. But speaking of time, did I not tell you? Yours is, in fact, limited.
What are you talking about?
The lifespan of those Originiutans won't exceed 1 week. Whatever it is you have to do, you'll have to do it quickly.
What are you trying to pull?
This is the price for your lack of patience. You want the Originiutans produced quickly, you want them tremendously powerful, and at the same time you want them to have no weaknesses? Do you truly believe such a thing is possible?
I told you, no tricks, egghead.
I'm busy. I have no time to joke with you. If you are so dissatisfied with my work, I suggest you take matters into your own hands. Use your own ingenuity to solve these genetic engineering complications that I, as a professional, can solve in so little time. Of course, you could bring me more materials, give me more time, and make your own contributions to this vapid family drama you're putting on. Science is fair. You always have a choice.
That's enough of your slippery talking. Get back to work, egghead. Don't expect any mercy out of me if you fail. The price of failure is a slow and miserable death. I'm a man of my word.
When you put it like that, what else can I say? Good luck, my friend.
There's so much smoke and chaos. Don't even need to get close to know what's going on. Never expected a riot of this scale here. Butting our horns in is sure to cause problems. I'm back.
Oh, what's the situation?
It's out of control. There's constant fighting around a mansion on the north side of town. Looks like mercenaries on one side. Things are even worse outside the manor. Bloodstains and collapsing houses everywhere. There's infected sand beasts scurrying throughout the alleyways, and there's a lot of them. If it's gotten that bad, where is the Sargon military, the Lord Amir's forces? There are some armed guards in the manor on the north side, but I don't see any other Sargon soldiers. So, it's been like this for 2 days. And I wonder if the watchman at the safe house is okay. He doesn't look good.
Let's not jump to conclusions.
In other news, I found the safe house. Some people have taken up guarding it, but they're not Rhode Island personnel.
It's been occupied by the mercenaries.
No, not exactly. They don't look like typical mercs. Their defensive position is extremely specialized. They have ambush kill zones, traps, and decoys all set up. Most importantly, they've got a lot of townsfolk in the safe house. Townsfolk? Just what kind of people do they have guarding the safe house? They look pretty much like you. They've got guns. Guns? Black Steel mercenaries? They don't have any obvious markings on them. I can't say for sure they're Black Steel. Aren't professionals stripped of any identification markings? With guns? Oof, my head hurts.
There are a lot of forces at work in this town. We can rule out a bandit raid. And if the Lord Amir's forces are missing, it's not an act of war. The situation here, far more complicated than I thought.
If they're willing to protect the civilians in the middle of a riot, they can't exactly be evil. Maybe we should try to make contact?
Let's be careful. There are a lot of possibilities here, even if we just look at them protecting the townsfolk. I just hope they're the type you can reason with.
What's the situation?
No good. I can't make sense of it. This thing looks like a circuit board, but it's totally different from any circuits I've ever seen. If you gave me a month and a technical manual, I'm still not sure I could figure it out. Screw it. I'm going to stand guard upstairs. I've been squatting so long my back is sore.
So, yet another observation that even if an electronics device looks pretty much what you would think it does, just from the look of it, on the inside, the electronics and everything, considering everything is based on Originium technology, well, good luck finding out how it works. Anyway, good hustle, Lord. No good. None of us have ever seen anything like the tech inside this comms equipment. I don't think we're going to be able to get it working. You wouldn't know it from the outside. It looks like your typical transmitter. Just like with the van back there, the energy they use in this world is unique. All their technology is based on this stuff called Originium.
You're still studying that communicator, huh? Originium comms equipment uses some really complicated tech. Rhode Island always had to send engineering casters out to maintain it. I'm not surprised you can't fix it.
You said before you used this device to send out a distress signal.
Oh, I'm not sure if the signal actually got through. When the rioters attacked the safe house, I hit the communicators quickly as I could, but they broke in before I got to talk to anyone. Everything happened so fast, I could barely speak. It could be the Rhode Island operator who took the call couldn't even hear me.
So the cavalry isn't coming. I was never waiting for the cavalry.
You don't look worried at all.
You could say we're pretty used to fighting without backup.
Wow. I'm thinking if you had shown up just a little later, I'd be spending the rest of my life in a wheelchair. Or maybe a coffin. All I can say is thanks.
Not necessary. You've done a lot of you've done a lot to help the civilians yourself.
Well, I wouldn't make a big deal of that. Treating the infected is kind of Rhode Island's business. Even if I'm just a reserve logistics operator serving as a doorman.
Treating? Does that mean there's medical supplies here? But what are these weapons for?
Oh, well... Rhode Island is mainly a pharmaceutical company, but the safe house doesn't actually offer any treatment services. Safe houses are mostly to provide combat operators with supplies, equipment, weapons and stuff when they're out on missions.
Right. Hold on, what's this?
Is this a grenade launcher?
Grenade? Let me see.
Oh my, is this a landmine? And you've got all kinds.
I thought the people here didn't use thermal weapons. The structure of this grenade launcher is a little strange.
There is no propellant charge for the grenades. Does it use compressed gas?
Look, here's a model using hydraulic springs.
Be careful. That box is full of Originium explosives. It's dangerous.
Mr. Octon, do you have ammunition for small arms here?
Small arms? Do you mean guns? Oh. Are you asking about etched ammo? We wouldn't usually have anything that valuable in a safe house like this. Rhode Island combat personnel rarely use guns.
Can we use these explosives?
Just be careful. Originium explosives are very dangerous. They used to only be for combat operators. But you look like you know what you're doing. I won't stop you.
Thank you very much.
What about these? What are these wild-looking parts for? Backup casting units. Don't break them.
Casting units?
Must be for that Originium art stuff.
Originium arts is the technique that lets them throw those fireballs.
We're getting into the weeds here, I'm no caster. But Originium art comes in all kinds of flavors. Every caster has his own speciality.
Would the engineering casters you've mentioned before be one of those?
Huh? Have you never seen arts before?
Well, we haven't seen much.
But how? You've got guns. Aren't you casters?
And this is one of those things where I would like to pause just for a brief moment. For anybody new, I know I said this in other narrations on the channel, but for anybody new and not being too familiar with guns in the world of Arknights, guns in the world of Arknights require you to be at least a bit proficient in casting Originium arts. Because at the end of the day, the gun is not filled with bullets, filled with gunpowder. It is pretty much propelled and filled with bullets that contain Originium. And to propel Originium or to ignite it and send it on its way, well, you need to be a caster. Therefore, in a very weird sense, guns, pretty much the overly vast majority of guns in the world of Arknights, especially every gun that a Sancta uses, is technically a wand. Technically, everybody with a gun is Harry Potter, if you think about it. With that said, there are gunpowder guns in this world. We actually have an operator on board of Rhode Island who actually makes gunpowder guns. But anyway, continuing. A gun user who can't use Originium arts. Now, that's rare. Oh, Mr. Rockfin, your leg hasn't healed yet. I don't want you walking around. I'm fine, I've got my crutches. I can walk a few steps. Doctor, how are the patients doing down there? I've got most of the wounded stabilized, thanks to the medical supplies here. You don't look so hot. Are you okay? I just haven't slept at all. I'll be fine. You need rest. We'll be in big trouble if we lose our only doctor. Don't worry. I'll be careful. Speaking of Originium arts, don't they have some kind of magic where you say a spooky incantation and there's a big flash of light and presto, you're all healed up? What are you talking about? Now then, what about like a healing potion that you drink it and all your wounds close up right up? None of that either. That's the stuff of sci-fi novels. There are arts that can heal wounds, but they are a very difficult type of arts to master. Before you can master healing arts, you first have to have a complete understanding of medical science. You have to know the anatomical structure of all the different races, things like that. Also, most healing arts users can only stop bleeding or speed up wound recovery. These arts are very useful on the operating table, but in my experience they're no substitute for real medical skill. Doctor, can you use arts? Oh, and I will quickly like to stop here as well. A very interesting observation here of how how healing arts actually work. The majority of them. Essentially, yes, they heal, but they heal by essentially assisting your body in repairing yourself. If you catch my drift. It's not a, like Blitz is asking, obviously, he's poking a bit fun there as well on top of it, but it's not a thing of hocus pocus and presto, like he said, the wound is closed through magical means. No, the arts is directly going into your flesh and blood, and it's pretty much just assisting the body in regenerating quicker, faster than it would normally. And like the doc here says, you do need to understand how a body works to actually do this properly. Even with a bit of understanding how the body works, you can at least close like a superficial wound, but anything more troublesome requires very astute knowledge of medicine, or rather the anatomy of a person. And we have multiple races here in this world who are anatomically very different from each other in a lot of cases. But anyway, I have a little knowledge, not very useful though. That's boringly realistic. To think a world with magic could be so inconvenient. Wait, hold on, did you just say sci-fi novels? Now I'm extra curious what your world sci-fi novels talk about. Would we find a bookstore in a bigger city? Maybe some history books too? Are books expensive? I've gotten myself all worked up now. You're a weird bunch. Where are you from anyway? Colombia? Victoria? You talk like you're Victorians, but like from a couple decades ago. And another very interesting thing. The English that they are... We've already established that the English that the that the Rainbow Six team is using obviously is Victorian English, but like Okfen here says, from his observation, it is a form of English that is several decades old in the world of Arknights. That's interesting as well. Anyway, well, I'm not really sure how to answer that one. Miss Cohen and her friends came from very far away, from a place where Oripathy doesn't even exist.
What?
Yeah, that. A country with no Oripathy. Really? No Oripathy, no infected. That means no discrimination? A place with no hatred, where everyone's equal? Lordy Lou, what kind of paradise is that? Funnily enough, as we know now, Originium apparently doesn't appear under the surface of the ocean, and on top of that, doesn't really exist, I guess, therefore doesn't really exist in the cities of Aegir underwater. Actually, I'm not 100% sure if they don't apply any kind of Originium technology down there, considering we would have to a bit deep dive into that. But yeah, Originium does not exist underwater, and the Aegir live underwater. But they do have their own problems. Anyway. Alright then, your faces say it all. Just pretend I never asked. We're under attack. Sit rep.
This is just the first wave. They have us surrounded. They were probing us with those earlier strikes.
We've got more incoming. Your traps. All good. Watch your explosives. Blitz, keep an eye on the left flank. Don't let them get the drop on us. Understood. Lord, conserve your ammo.
No problem. Let them come.
Pardon. Watch for surprise attacks. Let's see what they've got.
Here they come.
Hold your fire. Let them get a little closer. Nine o'clock. Lord, the enemy's up, dead ahead. Enemy down. These big eyes with horns are tough. Go for headshots. Ash, over there. What is that? Lord, be careful. Russian profanity, thank you, Tachanka. Alexander.
I'm okay. Don't worry about me. Hold the line.
What on earth is this? Watch out for those mutants. Light cover's no good.
That's a proper formation. Those four know what they're doing. Sounds like gunfire. No, those are more intense shots. That's a big rapid fire gun.
They're surrounded. It's the same mercenaries who were attacking the manor. Those monsters remind me of what we saw in Lungmen. The host and the herd. But they're not really the same.
Mercenaries carrying big guns and mercenaries commanding mysterious monsters. The situation is changing, and the balance is about to break.
What do we do?
Don't hesitate. Prepare for battle. Those wild beings who drive these kind of monsters in battle deserve not a single bit of mercy.
Roger. Thunderbolt. My
Nice!
Where are the casters? Take out the Vuir.
Don't even think about it.
What's happening? There's more of them. How? In a bad way. They have way too much firepower. Cut our losses and fall back before this gets any worse.
I see you.
Sniper! Shit, where? Forget it, just run.
You're not getting away.
Fall back, quickly, just run.
They're running. Set trap.
You okay, Alexander?
Yeah, just a flesh wound. These guys are learning.
Don't let your guard down. We've still got company. That's close enough, friend. I appreciate the help, but let's keep a comfy distance until we figure things out. Relax, we mean you no harm. We're a Rhode Island field team, and you're holed up in a Rhode Island safe house. We're responding to a distress call. Please identify yourselves. Calm down, I'm here to help. It's the Rhode Islanders? Hey, the Cavalier came after all. Get Mr. Rockton. Got it.
Rhode Island operator? Oh, we're saved. We're saved.
That's about the size. That's about the size of it.
So, those four mercenaries are the ones who set up those temporary defenses.
I'm really sorry. They broke my communicator. I couldn't protect the safe house. I won't blame you if you fire me on the spot.
Don't worry. This old man doesn't have the power to fire anybody. And the way I see it, you held out this long all by yourself. That's pretty fantastic. If it weren't for you, these infected would have met a much worse fate. How many are there?
Counting the doctor outside, 43, all infected. And the 4 mercenaries were protecting them all this time?
Mercenaries going out of their way to look after infected. That's something you don't see every day.
Mercenaries who don't look down on them, but actively try to help them. Maybe I'm being too paranoid, but where did these saints come from?
I think they may not realize. From the way they talk, I get the impression they were just protecting ordinary, innocent townsfolk.
I guess it's less that they didn't discriminate against the infected, and more that they don't care about the ripathy. But they don't look infected at all? I've never seen mercenaries like them, never heard of any Team Rainbow. They've got guns, but none of them look like Sancta. Unless the Sancta figured out a way to hide their fluorescent lamps. A non-Sancta mercenary group fully decked out with big guns like that is gonna be huge news. Blacksteel R&D would go nuts if they heard about this. Let's not talk about them like they're not here.
Regardless, they saved a Rhode Island operator and protected a bunch of infected. Until we have some evidence, we shouldn't be doubting their motives. Our top priority is finding a solution to our predicament. Let's talk to them.
They've been in there for a while. What do you think of this, Rhode Island? I've been wondering about them. What kind of pharmaceutical company needs a safe house full of military-grade hardware on the edge of civilization?
Well, Frost, do you want the long or short version?
They've got enough arms and explosives to outfit a platoon. And the employees of this pharmaceutical company all look like professional soldiers. Either this world's doctors are armed to the teeth, or the pharmaceutical business is a front. Probably both. They're armed, but they look well-trained and well-spoken. It's a night and day difference with the thugs we ran into before. Also, maybe it's just me, but I get a real familiar vibe from them.
You could say that again.
You know, I got that too. They're reasonable, civilized people at least. Everything I saw before had me thinking that this world was an apocalyptical bandit-ridden hellscape. I am finished binding your wound, Mr. Alexander.
Thanks, Doctor.
Doctor, are you familiar with this Rhode Island organization? I've heard a bit from the caravans. They're a group that specializes in critical care for the infected, as well as an neuropathy research team.
But isn't it an incurable disease?
Yes. Actually, there used to be a lot of people who claimed to be able to cure neuropathy. They were mostly shysters who ended up ruined when their scams were exposed. As for those who just exaggerated the effectiveness of their drugs suppressing the symptoms of neuropathy, they might not reach the level of fraud yet, but even their suppressant drugs are very expensive.
I'd guess so.
I once heard about a lord whose daughter contracted neuropathy, and he spent a lot of money to buy the suppressant from Colombia to save his daughter. Years later, the lord's money dried up, and his daughter died of the disease. But look at this.
What is it?
This is the safe house's store of neuropathy suppressants. These past few days I injected some of the more serious sufferers with it, and it really did suppress their symptoms. It works better than any drug I've ever seen before. This medicine must be insanely expensive, no? But Mr. Rockfin wasn't concerned with that at all. When I told him some of my patients were in critical condition, he gave me the box. It's not that I just don't believe there are good people in the world, but... Hey, I didn't expect that. Don't overthink it. Suspicion is costly. Whether you show it or not, it's going to get in the way of our talks with them. It looks like our goals are aligned, so we can just lay this stuff on the table.
If you say so. Oh, they're here. Sorry to keep you waiting. Now let's skip the pleasantries. Thank you for saving Hockford. Without you, Rhode Island would have lost a good worker. When the mission is over, I'll make a full report, and Rhode Island will remunerate you appropriately and compensate you for your supplies.
Remuneration.
Remuneration is nice. Also, you put your lives on the line for the infected, and that wins this old man's admiration.
Those townsfolk have done a lot for us in our time here. Leaving them to die wouldn't be our style. So, you're mercenaries? No, we're... yes, we are. We're mercenaries, the super expensive kind. Can you give us the name of your company? Mercenaries like you are a rare breed.
Blitz talking in Russian to Tachanka.
Help me think of a name.
Polar Bear Logistics? I just love how similar it is to Penguin Logistics, but whatever.
I understand if you're not in a position to say. We're from a faraway country in the south.
That's right, we're from way down south.
The south?
South of Sargon. Beyond the Foe hotlands.
Yes, the south, right.
There is other countries beyond the Foe hotlands. That's shocking. I've lived a long time, and this is the first I've ever heard of people down there. In all the records of all the Lords of Mir, there's never been a single report of someone crossing the hotlands.
You could have made your story a little more plausible. Plausible like Polar Bear Logistics.
Anyway, warriors with Ursin and Victorian accents, it doesn't matter where you come from. You're willing to fight for the infected, and at least on that point, our interests are aligned. At least for now, we can work together to deal with the situation.
I can agree with that.
So, who can tell us what the heck happened to this town?
Sarka's mercenaries. Controlling the monsters should be casters. They're organized, disciplined, and most importantly, they know when to cut their losses and back down. They're not here for a quick raid. They are all properly geared up with Columbian equipment. Some of them were extremely tough back when they sieged the safe house. Judging from the equipment and tactics, they should be professional mercenaries who signed the Red Mark contract.
I'm afraid, it's a rebellion against the local lord.
But why are they attacking civilians? They chased us here from the infected quarter. What on earth do these mercs actually want? The most likely answer is they want to silence you. I'm afraid that's not the only thing they were after. What do you mean? When they attacked the infected quarter yesterday, they were obviously targeting the sick. They were trying to round them up. I'm pretty sure that was their goal. Kidnapping infected. That doesn't make any sense.
The enemy's objectives are a mystery to us, but that's not the most important thing. For now, the best thing we can do is wait.
Wait?
You may not realize it, but we are standing in the middle of a fait accompli. We walked into this Lord Amir's territory without his permission, violating his commandments and the local laws. We've broken a major Sargon taboo. The town nobility may be in the middle of a war, but they're still the rulers here. Sticking our noses in anything else at this point would only make our situation even worse. The local lord set up an infected quarter. That tells us he's not totally cruel and heartless. He was willing to let Rhode Island build a safe house here. That means he's not an isolationist. I think he'll treat us fairly.
National law, local government, I get it. That's the best we can hope for right now.
Until the situation changes again, we'll hold out in the safe house and wait for the riots to die down. I hope you can help us.
No problem. We need Rhode Island's professional expertise too.
Alright then, I'm looking forward to working with the four of you.
You can do it, Lord. Almost, just a little more.
It's up!
Well done.
Yes, it's very impressive you can pull back this crossbow with your bare hands. Whew. But the design, you couldn't tell by looking at it that this crossbow has such tensile strength. It's a pretty ordinary crossbow. Most Sarkas can lock it bare-handed.
And here we have yet another little tidbit of actual humans are weak. But yeah, no shit. This puts stuff into another very interesting perspective. Well, an actual crossbow is already hard enough to just pull back the string on it. From what I've seen in documentaries and stuff about that kind of thing. A crossbow in this world where, I mean, you've seen the sizes of those things, especially the big one that Schwartz is mostly using. Yeah, and Rangers here says that most Sarkas can lock that thing back bare-handed without any tools, without any extra utensils. And our dear beefcake Tachanka here is, well, he was struggling. He did it, but he was struggling. There's a difference. But anyway.
A heavy crossbow with this kind of power. At least that 100 meters, it won't be that different from a gun. It's just too much work. And I already learned the hard way that bit about our physical differences. That Zappy girl over there might be no weaker than me. Are you talking about Liskar? She's a Woovier. They're a strong race for sure. Right.
Why the sudden interest in these weapons?
We're expecting a lot of fights soon. So it's time to think about what to do when we run out of ammo. Without bullets, my gun might as well be a paperweight. I don't think we can take them hand to hand when it comes to that, and our training and experience won't be enough either.
How much do we have left?
Not much over here, not even 400 rounds.
Let me show you something.
Is this a bullet?
It's a bullet that Rhode Islander named Liskarm uses. They call it an etched bullet, and it's apparently an extremely expensive commodity.
Did you take it apart yet? What's it made of? What's the propellant?
This chunk of crystal.
Looks like an energy source. Is it a propellant or a warhead? A Laterano gunsmith once told me that every single edged bullet contains a miniature casting unit that matches up with the structure of a Laterano gun. That means it's not only the gun, but every edged bullet is basically a caster's staff. That's why they're so expensive, and why they need such complicated arts that only Sancta can make much use of them.
And here, he pretty much just plainly says it. how guns actually work in the world of Arknights.
Other people go with easier ranged weapons. So, Laterano is the name of the country, Sancta is the name of the race. Laterano people are not necessarily Sancta. Got it. But that's real bad news about the bullets. Do we have any gun here that doesn't require Originium arts to work? I've never heard about those firearms that don't need Originium arts.
Anyways, this pretty much puts it into perspective that, shit, I cannot remember his name. I'm so terrible at remembering names. But yeah, this pretty much just kind of makes me think like, okay, he hasn't, at this point where this story is supposed to be taking place, he hasn't yet joined with Rhode Island. But gunpowder propelled guns do exist. One step at a time. At least everybody can use explosives.
Where did Kurtz go with them?
They're in the basement, still trying to fix the thing that looks like a radio transmitter. We can't power the comm casting unit. It's a power problem. Maybe. I'll have to see.
Also, this is adorable.
Okay, you all take a step back. The valedictorian is about to do her stuff. Charging. I love the I love the reflection on the sunglasses. Amazing. Oh. Was that art? It was pretty cool. It definitely leaves an impression. Is it working? It's on. Great work. That's my walking power supply. Don't you have anything better to do than annoy me? No good. It's still not connecting. The crystal electronics unit may be too damaged, or there may be some damage somewhere else in the circuit we can't see with the naked eye. We don't have any equipment for repairing Originium circuits here, so we can't troubleshoot. Sounds pretty hopeless.
Can ordinary people do these Originium arts too?
Theoretically, almost anyone can learn to do arts at some level, with enough training. It's just that studying arts takes time and effort, and that gets tied up pretty close with talent. Lots of people master only the most basic arts, even after pushing themselves a lot harder than others.
I'm a dumb old man, and I've never learned any Originium arts.
What are you thinking?
Nothing, just brainstorming about our situation here. Some wild, impractical ideas.
Oh, right, Mr. Kurtz. Take a look at this shield here. What's that on the shield? I installed a high-powered spotlight and a universal Originium circuit based on the Originium design and function of your shield. It should work just like you used to. Thanks a bundle. Oh, but I can't use Originium arts. Strictly speaking, a universal Originium circuit is a piece of modern technology that lets people who don't know how to use arts use it anyway. It is loaded with a few simple Originium arts. Of course, the power supply and equipment maintenance still need to be carried out by a trained caster. Alright, let's see. It's still pretty heavy. Turn it on, hit the switch. All good. I'll give it a try. Wow, it really works. But it'll take some getting used to. I haven't done a shield charge in 6 months. I've almost forgotten how to use the thing. How are things looking outside? The last attack was the last enemy movement. We haven't seen any probing strikes since. I don't think that's a good sign. Especially considering what a well-organized bunch of punks they are. I've got a bad feeling about this.
The calm before the storm.
Sure enough. Where's the doctor? Resting. He hasn't slept in days.
Give the kid a break. He shouldn't have to deal with all this at his age. And we've got another problem on our hands. We're running out of food.
Right, Mr. Ockton told us. What are you thinking? I'm thinking whether or not we should take a trip back to the infected quarter. I got you.
Oh, have you a plan?
We left in a hurry. A lot of sick people didn't have time to bring their food from home.
True. We have enough hands here. We could send some people out to get supplies.
Now let's save our talk here. We should be able to get there before night falls. Find anything? Got something. It's not much, but it's something.
Good work. These provisions, along with the emergency store in the safe house, should keep us fed for a week if we stretch it.
It's getting late. Let's head back. Someone's coming.
How many?
A dozen maybe. Could be mercenaries.
Hurry, back to the safe house. Are they still on us?
Yes.
That's not good.
I knew they wouldn't let up.
We're bound to get sieged if we choose to fight here. Keep retreating. What happened?
We've got company. Get ready to fight. Something's not right. Hold your fire.
Why?
It's not those mercenaries. They're Reproba soldiers.
Local guards. Hold fire.
Guards, surround the structure. Don't let anyone escape. Wait a second, are we surrounded?
This isn't good.
Why are the Lord's men encircling us?
Let's have you quiet down for now.
I want all of you inside to listen up. I am the captain of the Long Spring Village Guard, daughter of the Lord of Long Spring, Pikalitula. I want you all to lay down your weapons and come out nice and easy. Don't test my patience. You'll regret it.
The imposing Reproba warrior strikes the halberd into the ground with all her might, and the earth starts to tremble instantly.
Mercenaries. It's always mercenaries. You shameless, faithless, virtueless bastards. How much gold did my evil brother give you? You won't get away. I'll crush you. I'll stomp you into dust. I'll make you pay for everything you've done. Once I cut you down, you'll finally understand that no amount of blood money can buy you another life. Are you sure they're here to help? I think they'd rather hang us from the town gate. That's what I'm afraid of.
There is definitely a misunderstanding here. Lady Picale, I'm a field operator with Rhode Island, codename Rangers. I'm pretty sure Rhode Island signed a cooperation agreement with your family. We're...
Shut up! Rhode Island, sanctimonious hypocrites. My father trusted you. He believed your promises. That's why he agreed to your safe house. And how did you repay him? You kidnapped our people, robbed them of everything they had. I saw it. You're a bunch of treacherous villains. If you think a single second, you'll know that doesn't make any sense. If we wanted to pillage the town, why would we still be here? Don't try to talk your way out of this. And who the hell are you? You're standing on my father's land with your guns, and you dare to argue with me? If you're so tough, where have you been all this time? You and the Lord's men let those thugs raid the quarantine zone, so we had to risk our lives to save the townsfolk in there. What were your precious guardsmen doing then? And you still think you can come here and talk a big game with us?
Settle down. She doesn't seem like the type you can reason with.
Lady Picale, I'm Dr. Miarov, from the infected quarter. We've met before. Right, I know you. Rhode Island didn't rob the infected. I can testify to that. We were forced here by the riots. And it's not just me. Any of the infected here will tell you that. Lady Picale, I need you to trust me. I trust you, Doctor. Many people speak highly of you. Thank you, Lady Picale. But I don't trust them.
The imposing daughter of the Lord points forward with her colossal halberd.
It is a grave infraction to enter my father's territory armed without permission. In light of you protecting my father's subjects, I will pardon you for that infraction. As for Rhode Island, the contract you signed with my father is, as of today, null and void.
Please reconsider.
There is nothing to discuss. Longspring does not need armed foreigners, not even Rhode Islanders. I will gather up the infected and take them where they belong. We don't need you getting involved. But...
Alright, don't speak. Do not defy the local lord. You're standing here at Sargon as Rhode Island operators.
$41, $42. Any others?
That's all.
No problem. We'll get you to safety.
Miss Cohen, Mr. Alexander,
thank you for all that you've done. No need. We should be thanking you. Where are you going to go? Not sure yet.
Let's not make it sound so sad. Maybe we'll meet again someday. I'll have to tell you about it next time. The story of the dog-headed man.
Alright.
Doctor, this is for you.
It's an Originium ingot, but I can't...
Remuneration for Okfen's leg.
That was just some basic first aid. It's not worth this much.
I think it's worth it. Take it.
Thanks, Mr. Rangers. And thank you all. Goodbye. Something's off.
I know. I thought caution was the right move, but we ended up with a big misunderstanding.
Who would have thought the captain of the guard would be so difficult? A muscle-headed moron. We have enough of those at BSW. So what do we do?
They seized pretty much everything from the safe house. At least we're all unharmed. That's what really matters. Come with us, Mr. Ogden. We'll assign you in at the branch office, then contact the land ship and figure out what to do.
That's really our only option. I'm not so sure.
What do you mean?
That Bikale woman, could she be the one behind all this? The Lord was so slow to act, even as the mercenaries were rounding up the infected. And now we've got the captain of the guard taking everyone away all nice and legally. This can't just be a coincidence.
That does make sense.
I'm going to tail them and see. I'm going to...
No, more hands are more easily seen. The rest of you stand by. What's the matter?
I thought you won't agree with this plan.
Avoiding conflict with the local lord doesn't mean our hands are tied here. We need to play to the score. Sometimes you need a few tricks to get things working.
I see. Get them all to shelter first, and I want 3 with me. I think there's something happening in the main mines. In the mines.
Understood.
Is there enough room left in the shelter?
Not really. Half of the town's population is already inside.
Tell them to move upstairs if necessary. Them can have my father's room.
Is this really necessary?
I don't see anything wrong with it. My father will do the same should he lived.
I see.
Don't let your guard down anyway. Wait, did the lights go out as soon as we left?
I don't remember.
Out of the way! We're under attack. Protect the civilians. Where did they come from? What are you waiting for? Get ready to break through.
There's too many of them.
Take the civilians and get out of here. I'm breaking off. Come on, you cowardly bandits. How many was that? Finally. Lady Bikale! Doctor, what are you doing here? Don't go. The Lord's Manor has already been... Doctor! Drudge. Get the hell out of here. I'm going to chop your goddamn head off. You're loud as you ever were, dear sister. You're disgusting. I have to kill you. Show me what you've got.
As the imposing Reproba charges at her brother with shocking speed, she realizes it. She's fallen right into a trap. Under the cover of night behind the crumbling houses, a machine rumbles. In 1 second she feels herself struck dizzy by a ferocious blow, as if slammed right in the face by a boulder launched from a catapult. In the next second, she falls unconscious. And that is where we are gonna end it for today. If you can believe it, maybe you can by the time timing on the video. This was literally half. We went from stage 1 all the way to stage 5 with the story, with both beginning and endings before and after a battle stage. The only exception here is that stage 4 in the event did not have a story, but we've covered half of the story for now. As for the titles of each of the stories, they pretty much go in the order of for the cutscene intro, Operation Lamarck.
Then Stage 1, titled Field Records. Stage 2, Defensive Range Expansion. Stage 3, Safe House Battle. And our Stage 5 story, where we ended up, because Stage 4 did not have a story, was titled Supply Recovery Plan. And that is pretty much it for today. Next time we're gonna cover the rest of the story. It is a very short story in general. I can't remember. I do have it uploaded without narration on the channel from a long time ago, back when it was originally airing, but I can't remember what the actual timing was without narration on it, but it was a very short story in general, but a very good one, which, again, like I said at the beginning, very much surprised me and makes me like this story very much, because it gives us a baseline to compare, pretty much compare the people of the Arknights world to actual human people, and the technology of our world to the technology of the Arknights world. Even though at first glance everything seems like it could be just, you know, your ordinary radio, your ordinary car, or whatever else, at the end of the day, everything for them is very different. At least on the inside. But yeah, very interesting. Next time, like I said, we're gonna finish this, so please look forward to that. In the meantime, if you like this video, please consider leaving a like on it. It helps a lot in the algorithm. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. There is a lot more side stories like these on the channel. If you just wanna listen back to some old stuff or some more recent stuff like Il Siracusano, for example, or the main story of Arknights, which is completely recorded at this point, narrated and character voiced just like this story. And yeah, you can listen to it in its entirety with extra little details and comments along the way. But in the meantime, I hope you have a fantastic day wherever you are, and I will see you in the next part. Until then, bye bye.